Hello, welcome to the We in Wellness Conversations and Meditations with Dr. K. Hi, today you have just me. So I decided that I would switch settings a little bit and be on my yoga mat instead of at my desk. Why do you have just me? I've been asked by several loyal listeners to offer reflection. They've really been enjoying hearing from the gents, but uh they're like, where's your head at on wellness? And what did you think about all of the podcasts you've done so far and what you've learned? So I am going to do this without notes because that's how I felt like doing it. There's something I really value about in the moment authenticity and like the spontaneity of that. Um, because it's something I've generally been uncomfortable with my whole life. So that's why I interview that way. Like people don't have the questions ahead of time. Unless they've taken the time to listen to other podcasts they've done, they generally don't know what I'm going to do. And then I just do it. um, but that being said, I've put myself on a similar experience to talk this out. Um, where did we begin? First, we had Jason, retreat leader in Costa Rica. I got interesting feedback about his stoic nature, very masculine in his firmness about things, um, which isn't really the experience of him in his beliefs, that to my knowledge. Um, but yeah, there's a oh, I'm speaking to someone who's an authority on something. There's a way he shows up that was either invited some people in, and other people were like, "Wow, that's a lot. That's where you started with your interviews. That's intense." But of course, I enjoyed it. That's where we learned a lot about friendship and the importance of that in reality. Yeah, yeah. And for me, as a beginning, that was, I don't know, I started with a challenge, I'll put it that way. And in the sense of not knowing where we would go at all in conversation and trusting it, that was the challenge. Um, because I've had other lengthier conversations with other people who've been on the podcast, and I can kind of gauge where we would go or what feelings might come up. But with Jason, not so much. Um, but I think it was a great podcast. A lot was revealed, a lot got said, a lot got investigated. Then there was the podcast that didn't have a video, and I have been asked to bring him back because the tea is that his beard connects, and everybody wants to see Jordan. um, yeah, we talked a good bit about travel. We talked a good bit about what it means to be someone in the space of coaching men's mental wellness. Um, that was a good one too. They're all good, by the way. Spoiler, I'm gonna say that about every single one. But I would go back to that podcast if you're looking to learn more about um self-care tips and uh from an athlete. That's the way I'll say it. From someone who wouldn't have necessarily stereotypically been in a wellness space, who got there by fight and grit. That's a good episode for that. Yeah, so that is what I would turn to in revisiting Jordan's podcast. If you like what you hear and you want me to get him to come back on, please let me know. So that I can let him know that we're doing another episode where he's present. Uh, then we got into some things with my brother. That episode, the first one with him, was a lot. we did both in one setting. I'm um I'm used to speaking to Hubbards for 3 to 4 hours at a time. It's kind of how we do. But it's interesting to both know that the way that we communicate with each other will then be heard by others. And we're going to intentionally not fully control who has access to our story um, around things we went through in childhood and how it shaped us as adults and all of that. So it was a very vulnerable um, podcast for me to do. And I'm proud of both of us for taking that on. Now, I wasn't intending to just trauma dump on the world. Um, and I know that I have people that I work with on a regular basis who listen. Um, and so they may have learned more about me than I've ever revealed in a session, right? Um, but I did that because I feel like it's cliche to be like, I ain't got nothing to hide. But it's more that I'm healing too. It's more that I want people to know they're not alone in something. It's more that I want people to know that you can come from meager beginnings and still be a person of value, still be someone that everybody wants to hear a funny story from. If you want to hear some funny stories, you listen to those episodes. Um, my brother's one of the best storytellers to ever do it. That does also run in my family. Um, but he got an extra dose, an extra gift on that one. Um, so yes, if you if you want to learn a whole lot about me and potentially attempt to psychoanalyze me, go back to the first part one of the episodes with my brother. Um, if you want to hear phenomenal storytelling and about uh psychoactive drugs, um, listen to part two. Okay. They go well together, but yeah, he speaks about his psilocybin and ayahuasca journeys in the second episode, which is quite lovely. Um, and it's a good laugh. Um, yes. Then I got to talk to Ben. Ben is my retreat partner, which is super fun. Um, More people. That was everyone's favorite. Sorry, Ted. We can revisit with the other guy. I mean, like I feel like people were catching up to what was going on and how different the episodes would be and whatnot. But I will say, as far as popularity in view count, Ben is winning. Not that it's a competition. Um, so I believe that is because it is so interesting to hear about shamanic ceremony and answering a call, like a spiritual call, and then a life changing, which is what much of that episode was about. Ben is also a facilitator for other people's journeys, um, which is fascinating to see someone who's young, who's into that. Because for some reason, for me, when I think about a shaman, I think about someone over the age of 60. Okay. And I know this is stereotypical, but I think about someone a little more senior, an elder, if we will, who can like see right through you. Ben can also do that. He's just in his young 30s. So surprise, the gift hits when the gift hits. Okay. Um, that is a good episode to revisit or go listen to if you're interested in a retreat that involves plant medicine, if you're interested in how to activate your intuition, or you've had um you've had some experiences around, whew, I've had some dreams come true, and what is that? Why is that happening to me? Why am I this person? Or I've had I think I heard something, but it was real, or uh I'm in someone else's thoughts right now. Um, yes, go listen to that episode. Ben will make all of it sound normal and you'll feel seen. So yes. Um, I know that I feel seen in certain ways when I'm around him, which is why we're doing the retreat together in December. Um, it will be a limited grouping of people because I'm in charge of curating it. Um, and I also realize now is a good time for me to break this down because I haven't been the best at being very succinct or clear with information. Will this be succinct? Probably not, but I am going to talk it through. So, um, the retreat will be the week after Thanksgiving. Um, in starting in Mexico City, that's where people would fly to. We'll be doing some guided tours in Mexico City of pyramids as well as the Anthropology Museum, um, which I love. It's top two museums in Mexico City, which is like a museum capital of the world. It's amazing. The reason we're doing guided tours is because a lot of the information that is given when you go to those places is what was deemed palatable, accessible, and open to the general public from around the world. But we'll be hearing about the spiritual energy of what the relics in the museum mean and what was actually going on at the pyramids. It's a way of grounding into our surroundings. And why are we even doing the retreat in Mexico? Because uh, there are forms of plant medicine that started here. There's forms of spiritual awakening that have their earliest records happening here. And I can say here because I'm in Guadalajara, I'm in Mexico, but here. Okay. After that, we'll be going to Malinalco, which is a little magic town, um, that I have had the pleasure of going to and falling in love with. Um, it's so quaint, which makes me sound like such a visitor and a foreigner experiencing this, but I'm putting it into terms that people who have not been there can understand. Um, it is also where people live their full lives. So it's not like we're just going to see how locals do it. We're engaging with them. Uh, all of the practitioners are local, which is why you won't see their information fully on our website. If you have specific questions about any of them or who's leading something, ask me directly. I will let you know. But side note, asterisk, if Ben and I choose to do this again, it might not happen in Malinalco. It might be in Brazil. It might be in, I don't know, Gabon. So, but this first one is here and it's going to be special. Um, for a lot of reasons. All of them will be special for different reasons, but this one, because it is rooted in um where I've chosen to live and where Ben is from. Um, as well as where we have some of our stronger ties to spirit. Okay. Um, and the theme of this retreat is activating intuition. So it is for people who want to know themselves much more deeply and for people who may have a spiritual gift. Either they think they do, they know they do, and they've been afraid of it, or they definitely do and they don't know how to use it. That's what we're doing. Um, if you are someone who is questioning what's next in life and you want to activate your intuition to figure that out, it also applies. But be warned, you may be around people who are like, so I'm a telepath. Welcome. Everybody has a gift. None of them are better than anyone else's. They're all super important and valuable for the work that we have to do on this earthly plane. So there'll be no, oh, we're in the cool club, but just know that there'll be a mix of that. Okay. I told you this would not be succinct. You were warned. So when we get to Malinalco, after we've done our tours in Mexico City over 2 days and eaten some great food, there'll be more great food at Yolitia Wellness Center, which is our retreat grounds. It's our retreat grounds. And that's gonna be fun. It has everything. It has the hammocks and the views, and there's little private ponds and lovely cabins and there's also if people want to book add-on services, you can book massage, you can book float deprivation tank, and all of that stuff is available. What we'll be doing as a group is Temazcal, which is a um ritual sweat lodge is the best way I can say it in English, but it's ceremonial. So it's more than just, oh, I sat in the sauna and sweat for 2 hours. No, 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 no. It's you're being taken through something, okay? There will also be ice bath. Similar. It's not just happening to the tub, although that won't be for 2 hours. And of course, I'm a doctor, so I'll be making people are screened appropriately so that there's no one who's doing it who has a contraindication who should not be taking part in a particular service. Um, there will be intuition activation classes. Surprise. It's me. I like education. Um, where you'll be encouraged to really go within and go, oh, I knew more about this than I thought I knew. So you'll be taught how to access that, how to touch into it in safe ways. And of course, there will also be plant medicine with shamans, because even though some people may think highly of my capability, I am not a shaman, okay? I am not a shaman. What they do, and I say that laughingly, and anyone who's worked with a shaman gets what I mean. And I realize that people who have not yet worked with shamans don't understand why I go to that place. The reason I say it that way is because uh, the way a true shaman can hold space for someone through whatever potentially perceived ugliness or um uh physical need or emotional need, or because shamans are also feeling all of your emotions as you go through it. They are with you. Like, I hold space for people, and there's times where I'm in session with somebody and I'll be like, "Oh, are you feeling this? Because I'm feeling this." Or, "Oh, my eyes are welling up. I'm on to something. There's a deep feeling of emotion here. We'll find." Like, yes, I can connect, but the way that a shaman can do it is otherworldly. Okay. So that is why I'm not about to just like hand people medicine and be like, let's go. I'm not the one. Um, but it is so beautiful to be held in that space by people who trust the process, trust themselves, and trust you even on first meeting, and they'll go in. They will go in. Um, so that's fun and important. Then there will be integration. Integration is important because when you have an experience that profound, when you've been met with emotions you have never had before, never expressed before, didn't know your brain was capable of thinking this thought or having this feeling, um, your body has moved in ways you didn't normally move it, all of that. You, uh, you need time to put yourself together in a space that doesn't include tremendous interaction with the exterior world, or jumping back into everything being normal and as it was, because nothing's really the same anymore. Um, and you have to go take action in your own life. And to do that, you might want some coaching. And Ben and I are on we'll be doing that. I don't want to say we're on call for it, but we will be scheduling sessions with everyone as needed for a period of time. Okay. Um, that's pretty much it for the retreat and the episode with Ben. If you want to know his vibe, go listen to that episode or watch the shorts. There are also shorts on YouTube. I'm really bad at posting them on IG, but there's shorts on YouTube if you want to check out mini versions of any of these episodes. Um, whew. Last but not least, Sean Hill. Sean Hill. Okay, the next episode. Um, the feedback I got. Listen, um, I should almost read. Okay, I will just say the feedback that I got was profound for this episode because he was able to explain with such gentleness a way to move through the world in a time where everyone is in such a dichotomy. And people may not agree with his worldview on doing that. Um, and that is not the point. I'm not trying to change anybody at all. I'm just trying to share different ways of doing things. And Sean so beautifully embodies the ability to be in conversation with anyone, even when there's a disagreement. He's really good at nonviolent communication. So we talk. So if you're interested in that, that's my like political episode. Um, Spoiler, not really that political, but very human centered and service oriented. So I would recommend going over there for that. He's also a writing coach and an actor and a host, and he's all these wonderful things. So the energy on that episode is also a bit higher. There's a lot more laughing than with some of my other episodes where, if you've noticed, I tend to keep it keyed down. That's like my natural state. Um, yeah. So what is to come? What is to come? Definitely have more gents on the horizon that I know y'all are looking forward to hearing from. I've been asked to have everybody we've had so far circle back and do follow-up conversations. So I'll be reaching out and scheduling as it permits, who is available to come back if they want to come back. Um, but for me, I feel like it's a good time to update what's next for me. And no, I'm not going to say the retreat again, although yes, but I've been going through my own transformations. Um, if you're someone who has been watching this from the beginning in real time, you may have noticed that at the start of this podcast series, I was a lot less confident to talk to y'all. Um, my voice was different, my tech was different. It's improved. Um, and that's been really beautiful for me to be like, oh, I can do this. And I could do this pretty sustainably, which I had questions about for quite some time. Um, and people ask me, what's the podcast about? And I'm like, wellness and community. Wellness and community. And I do conversations with people. um, and that's accurate. That's accurate. But the hesitancy and the caution around describing it is because I know that it's going to keep morphing. That's why. Um, And it's not because the audience goes, give me more witchy stuff. And so I'm just going to start doing more witchy stuff. I do what authentically I feel like doing. And I do what the guests that I've chosen to ask to be on feel like talking about. Like that's what we do. Um, but I will just say we have a clinician and I actually have multiple clinicians on the horizon who are more in the mental and physical wellness duo of things coming up quite soon. Um, and after that, I think it's time. I think we've heard from enough male identified folks. And it's we're gonna open it way up. Um, which I know everyone's also very excited about. So that's what's next for the podcast. What is next for me is continuing to grow. Um, Continuing to trust that if I don't know what's happening, that's a little okay. When it comes to a creative pursuit, not in my clinical practice. I tend to know what's going on there. Uh, yeah, I think that's that's that. If this is also, I'm opening this up. If you've made it this far, thank you. Um, but if anyone is interested in asking me something, this is the episode to comment on, to ask me a question. You can comment on YouTube, you can comment on Spotify, you can comment on Apple, I'll find it. Um, and I will answer that question shortly, probably in a bonus episode, maybe in like 3-4 weeks. But ask your questions now anyway. I can also make shorts that get posted. This is hilarious. I've never seen this card before. I just started shuffling. I have never seen this card before in this deck. I pulled Retreat. I cannot make this up. I pulled Retreat from the Herbal Astrology Oracle deck, which, yeah, if you're into the plants, this is the deck. It's by Adriana Ayales. Um, and it's a 9, which is my favorite number. This is crazy. That's crazy. All right. How did I? Because I was like, I'm talking about the retreat too much. I don't like advertising. That's where I was in my head as I'm doing this podcast. But I was like, people keep asking me because they want to know. So I have to tell them retreat. Okay. If you would like more information on the retreat, depends on what the card said, then email me. Email me at k@artcure.com. KAY at ARTKURE.com. I don't always write it out because I don't like getting spam emails to my primary account, but that is how you find me. You can also DM me in on Instagram. I'll find that too. Okay, now I'm pulling from the Beyond Lemuria deck. Oof, because I'm curious. These are really pretty. Alignment. Also a 9. I swear to God, I can't make this up. Okay. So with these types of decks, these types of oracle decks. Oh, and if y'all want to know, yeah, I'll just tell you now, because why not? I pull a lot of cards, and so people are often surprised. Wait, you can read tarot? Wait, what do you mean? The answer is yes. Um, when I feel called to add a modality to what I'm doing, um, I get curious about it. And then I lean into it and it starts to come more easily. When I know there's flow with it, then I keep going. And then it's a new skill that I have. Um, I think that's how most people learn most things. I'm not mystifying that by some way, like I have a special gift to learn the, no, but if I wasn't supposed to learn how to read cards and then I tried, I don't think it would have gone as well. That's what I'm trying to say. But when it comes to oracle cards, it's quite easy because there is always a book and there was always an artist. And between the two of those things, you can get the meaning that was intended when the card was done. When it comes to activating intuition, you get extra stuff when you look at the cards that's not in the book. Um, so there's a tip. If you want to learn how to activate some intuition and you have some card decks, look at them and don't read the book and see if you still know what's going on. Okay. Reishi is retreat. There's a sleeping bear. There's, okay. This is about finding balance with rest, but also with a lot of love. And when you do it when you're supposed to, when you do it when you are um, being asked by yourself, you might have anxiety or depression knocking on you that's like, hey, can we do something different? State of the world is got me stressed out. Can we do something different? Answer that call. because that type of love will come with something you don't expect. It won't just be, oh, I rested so I can get back into it. Then what was the point of the rest if we're starting this all over again? I think that's why a lot of people don't take breaks, don't take sabbaticals, don't travel. And there can also be fear associated with what's on the other side of that. But this is telling me that if you answer that ask, you will be rewarded with something that is much more lasting. And maybe that is a rest, maybe that is self knowledge, maybe that is deeper connection. So, I mean, we can test. Was that written in the card? I've never seen this card in this deck, and I pull from this deck all the time. Um, but this is also how I know my energy is shifting because when you start pulling cards that are not the cards you are most familiar with that you normally pull, your energy is shifting. That's another way to recognize that. Because it happens when you're learning a modality like this, you have to pull for other people. And when you pull for other people, you'll be like, what? I haven't read up on this card yet. I don't know what this means. This isn't a card I normally get. But it's very different when you do the work with others and when you do it with yourself. And there's no right or wrong on if it's just for you or if you share, but it is another way to learn a complete system if you do pull for other people. Or yeah, you get what I'm saying. Okay, what does this say about retreat? I'm in the book. Retreat, recovery, meditation, hibernation, spiritual contemplation, replenishment of spirit. Swear to God, I've never seen this before. Okay. And little guidance I will read. And I'll read it more measured because I don't need to rush through this. The first word, pause. Pause. It's time for renewal. If you feel overwhelmed or mentally overloaded, it's time to retreat. Take the time to recuperate and recharge, and personal growth will follow. Overstimulation and indecision lead to a sense of weakness, imprisonment, and a feeling that you are evading death. Like bear, hibernate or rest before you take on the next project or challenge. Many Native American tribes have called this space of inner contemplation the Dream Lodge, a place to witness death and see beyond the confines of physical reality by visiting the dream time. Create the space to be in silence and calm the internet chatter. Reflection is key to the path of self-mastery. I just need to stare at y'all for a second because did I not literally just say all of that? I've been over here wondering why I'm explaining how to read cards as I'm reading cards because we're talking about self mastery, and the path towards it. Because we're talking about finding the calm, finding the retreat, not because there's overstimulation. Now, like some of that is okay. I could have just been like, retreat means pull back, but y'all heard what I actually say. It was far more in line with the sentiment of this just because I intuited it by looking at the card. Not because I'm special, but because I've been working for a long time to pay attention to my intuition. And I want everybody to have that. Okay, the Lemuria deck, which is about alignment. I have a feeling we can guess where this might go. Because what have I been talking about? But I'm going to read the book. It's neutral. Neutral. 18, which is also number 9. Uh, it's a seed card. I happen to be reading Parable of the Sower right now. If you know about Earth Seed, you know. Okay. Um, Inner integrity, being a vibrational match for what to bring into your life, manifesting from a place of love over fear, energy flows where attention goes, subconscious sabotage, seamlessly actualizing our dreams. More dreams. So, if you made it this far, if you made it this far, dreams, pay attention to them in the next 2 weeks. Okay, I'm gonna just read the divinatory meaning. Look at where your desires and manifestations are being seeded. If your plans or dreams aren't unfolding as you would like them to, it's time to take a deeper look at other areas in your life. Is something out of step with integrity? Are you making decisions through fear or love? If it is through fear or avoidance, your manifestations may seemingly backfire to encourage experiences that will bring you back into balance. For everybody who just went through eclipse season and felt it, this part. Okay. Um, mm-hmm. If it is through fear or avoidance, your manifestations may seemingly backfire to encourage experiences that will bring you back into balance. It is time to become a vibrational match for what you are seeking. Instead of striving harder for something, cultivate the feeling of already having all that you seek. You will be surprised at what this shift in perspective creates. Did y'all hear me when I said I'm shifting? It's been interesting to see myself, to allow myself to grow in ways creatively that I couldn't have predicted. Uh, did you hear me when I said that the retreat is a space of finding out what you may suspect about yourself, but you're trying to figure out what to do with it, how to make it make sense? That's called alignment. So I promise I wasn't like, oh, I'm just gonna go preach about the retreat, but there you have it. Hopefully for those who are, I know I keep shifting in my seat, been here for a while. Um, Hopefully for those who are maybe listening for the first time, this was an interesting walk through the way my mind works and the way I communicate at certain times. For others who have only heard me in conversation with others on this podcast, um, hopefully this was interesting to hear from just me. And if you're someone who knows me personally or works with me, then you know this is what we do. Um, it's not all about making meaning, but it is about paying attention to what is there and what you may have been trying to ignore and avoid. I feel like I'm thinking about 4 of my clients right now. What you've been maybe trying to avoid a little bit, and then you're like, oh, 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 that is loud. I hear it now. That's where we are. That was the reading for the collective. That includes me. Um, and so what I learned is I need to tell more people about I need to be more present with um why this work is so important to me. And it's because I'm someone who does not do well on the front lines of battle, of chaos, of um very loud emotions. But I am someone who deals really well with all of those things in a one-on-one capacity, just not in a crowd. And because of that, I pulled back and I do very intentional work with people. Um, and for a long time, I've known that group work is part of that. And um, activating leaders and activating healers and activating everyone's intuition is part of that. And I've avoided it because that sounds scary and trippy. And, my brain was raised by an engineer and did 4 years of medical school. So I'm very, I can be like, ooh, the woo woo is too far. Pull it back, pull it back, pull it back. Um, but what I'm saying actually makes sense. I can back it up and I can prove it. Um, with the experiences that I've had and the conversations that I'm in, it's not just an echo chamber of people being like, ooh, Mercury's in retrograde. Yeah, that's why everything sucks. I'm going to validate the fact that I'm not growing as a human because my moon's in Scorpio. Like, that's not what we're doing. There are people who do that, but that's not what we're doing. What we're doing is saying, hey, I'm learning stuff, I'm seeing connections, and I'm something else is out there, something else, and then you step towards it, and then you learn something else, and then you step towards that, and you learn something else, and then we're here. So, all of that being said, I guess this was more of a message than I thought it would be. Um, but I'm glad to have heard it myself, offered it myself, and yeah, shared it with all of you. We should meditate. I can feel it. Okay, this will be quick, I think. If you're not doing something that requires full attention, then get comfortable and close your eyes. If you're driving, just listen. Um, yeah. So you're going to take a deep breath in and exhale fully. Again, and exhale. I want you to release tension that may be held somewhere. My hand is often in my neck. Some people, it may be your chest. You can pull your shoulders back and down. You may do a little twist with your waist, a little side one. If you don't know where the tension is, I want you to tighten all your muscles. Okay? Even including your face. I want to make a weird face. And then release. And do it again. Tighten everything up. Clench it. Hold it. Squeeze it in. And then release. Okay. I'd like you to envision a flame just on a candle, nothing massive. Candle flame. Hmm. Is it steady? Is it flickering? Is it so small you fear it might go out? Is it tall and reaching for more? Hmm. Now that you recognize your flame, I want you to imagine, not physically, I want you to imagine that it's being pulled closer to you. Like it's coming towards the center of your chest, but it's not going to burn you. That's just where it belongs. When I asked if you described the flame as so small it might go out, or very big and boisterous, or uh, steady, or flickering, or if you had another way to describe it, I want you to think of that concept in relation to your heart. Is your heart, does it seem small and dimming? Is it loud? Is it a little chaotic? Is it fluid? Is it steady? Hmm. I don't want you to control it. I just want you to notice it. And we're going to take another deep breath. Inhale, exhale. Still with your mind's eye on the flame. Inhale, exhale. Now I want you to picture your flame melting away like the last drop of a sunset. It's not fading. It's not going away forever, but it is receding in the most beautiful way. And now I want you to picture a night sky with a full moon, and you can see the whole moon. Does it feel cold? Does it feel warm? Is the moon inviting? Is it uh scary? Um, is it something you want to brush past and ignore? Or is it captivating all of your attention? And now that you know a little more about how you're seeing this moon, I want you to imagine that it is part of your energy from up here to your forehead, third eye. What might the moon be? What might the words you use to describe the moon be saying about your intuition? That's what's there in the third eye. Were you wanting to avoid it because you don't have time to look at the moon? Did it captivate all of your energy and thoughts? So you couldn't do anything else? Was it deep? Did you see the moon as beautiful, or Does he just look like a rock? Hmm. Okay. And now I'd like you to, with your imagination, put that moon back up in the sky for where it belongs and it reflects the light of the sun. And take another deep breath. And exhale. And inhale. And exhale. And when you're ready, you can open your eyes. How did that feel? I honestly don't know why I went all the way there. But I will say, a lot of times my meditations are specific and measured with a particular goal. This one was more about acknowledging where you're at and being okay with that. And allowing. Cool. We have a special guest star. Sorry for the people who are just listening. But Rumi showed up. Here's my kitty. And I will see you or hear from you next time. Thank you for listening. Bye.